Hi, today is the 14th or possibly the 15th of November. Please look up 3 alternative words or a definition for the following words and write them in your vocab list. Piston, tyrant and iris, they're all nouns. A piston is a mechanical part of an engine. Tyrant means a cruel leader. And the iris is the coloured part of your eye. Please write in your books, question 4, a sound of thunder. We're going to add 3 more words to our vocabulary today. Evoke or evocation means it produces a mood or is the thing that produces the mood. Allude or allusion means to refer to, or it's the thing that refers to. And connote or connotation, again, refers to or suggests. It'd be great to use these words in your answer today. These words all mean to suggest. The objective today, as with all question 4 on paper 1, is to critically evaluate a statement about the text. So we're going to read a new text, know which method to use to answer paper 1 question 4, write an answer individually and repeat for question 2. Once again, we're going to use the petal structure. The question is 20 marks, so 4 to 5 basic petal paragraphs or 3 with extra analysis, looking at more detailed quotations and analysing them. Don't forget we're working with point that the writer's making, evidence, that's quotations, what technique they're using, but most importantly, what do you understand? Imagine you're a paying customer on a dinosaur hunt via a time machine. What would you hear, see, feel physically, and feel emotionally? Let's find out. Using a time machine, an organisation called Time Safari transports clients into the past to take part in hunting expeditions. A group that includes Mr. Eccles, together with their guide, Travis, is visiting a prehistoric jungle in order to shoot a Tyrannosaurus rex. Question 4. Focus this part of your answer on the second part of the source from line 31 to the end. A student said, "This part of the story where the men encounter the Tyrannosaurus rex shows Eccles is right to panic. The monster is terrifying. To what extent do you agree?" In your response, you could consider your own impressions of Eccles' reaction to the Tyrannosaurus rex, evaluate how the writer describes the monster, support your response with references to the text. It can't be killed. Eccles pronounced this verdict quietly, as if there could be no argument. He'd weighed the evidence, and this was his considered opinion. The rifle in his hand seemed like a toy gun. We were fools to come. This is impossible. Shut up, hissed Travis. Nightmare. Turn around, commanded Travis. Walk quietly to the machine. We'll remit half your fee. I didn't realise it would be this big, said Eccles. I miscalculated, that's all, and now I want out. It sees us. There's the red paint on its chest. The tyrant lizard raised itself. Its armoured flesh glittered like 1,000 green coins. The coins, crusted with slime, steamed. In the slime, tiny insects wriggled, so that the entire body seemed to twitch and undulate, even while the monster itself did not move. It exhaled. The stink of raw flesh blew down the wilderness. "Get me out of here," said Eccles. "It was never like this before. I was always sure I'd come through alive. I had good guides, good safaris, and safety. This time I figured wrong. I've met my match, and I admit it. This is too much for me to get hold of." "Don't run," said L'Esperance. "Turn around. Hide in the machine." Yes. Eccles seemed to be numb. He looked at his feet as if trying to make them move. He gave a grunt of helplessness. "Eccles!" He took a few steps, blinking, shuffling. "Not that way!" The monster, at the first motion, lunged forward with a terrible scream. It covered 100 yards in 6 seconds. The rifles jerked up and blazed fire. A windstorm from the beast's mouth engulfed them in the stench of slime and old blood. The monster roared, teeth glittering with sun. The rifles cracked again, but their sound was lost in shriek and lizard thunder. The great level of the reptile's tail swung up, lashed sideways. Trees exploded in clouds of leaf and branch. The monster twitched its jewelless hands down to fondle at the men, to twist them in half, to crush them like berries, to cram them into its teeth and its screaming throat. Its boulder stone eyes levelled with the men. They saw themselves mirrored. They fired at the metallic eyelids and the blazing black iris. Like a stone idol, like a mountain avalanche, Tyrannosaurus fell. Please write in your books, if you haven't already, Paper 1, Question 4, A Sound of Thunder, and don't forget the date. Here are some things you could plan to write about. The dinosaur's appearance, its behaviour, for example speed, grabbing the men and eating meat. Previous experience was safer and less overwhelming for the paying client, and the loud noises that it makes and the fact that it smells of flesh and screams. Question 4. Focus this part of your answer on the second part of the source from line 31 to the end. A student said, "This part of the story where the men encounter the Tyrannosaurus rex shows Eccles is right to panic. The monster is terrifying. To what extent do you agree?" In your response, you could consider your own impressions of Eccles' reaction to the Tyrannosaurus rex. Evaluate how the writer describes the monster. Support your response with references to the text. Don't forget, pedal paragraphs mean, what is the writer saying? What point are they making, and do you agree? How? Using quotations and techniques. And why? What's the effect on the reader? What do we understand or feel? Why do you agree or not? Question 2. Look in detail at this extract from lines 16 to 26 of the source. How does the writer use language here to describe the Tyrannosaurus rex? You could include the writer's choice of words and phrases, language features and techniques, and sentence forms. It came on great oiled, resilient, striding legs. It towered 30 feet above half the trees, a great evil god, folding its delicate watchmaker's claws close to its oily reptilian chest. Each lower leg was a piston, 1,000 pounds of white bone sunk in thick ropes of muscle sheathed over in a gleam of pebbled skin like the armour of a terrible warrior. Each thigh was a ton of meat, ivory and steel mesh, and from the great breathing cage of the upper body, those 2 delicate arms dangled out in front, arms with hands which might pick up and examine men like toys, while the snake neck coiled. And the head itself, a ton of sculptured stone, lifted easily upon the sky, its mouth gaped, exposing a fence of teeth like daggers, its eyes rolled, ostrich eggs, empty of all expression save hunger. It closed its mouth in a death grin. It ran, its pelvic bones crushing aside trees and bushes, its taloned feet clawing damp earth, leaving prints 6 inches deep wherever it settled its weight. What themes can you see? Are you able to use the words evoke or evocation, allude or allusion, connote or connotation? Did you spot any metaphors? What image did they evoke? Here are the lesson objectives once more. Here is some work on Century. Please go to your course, make sure you use the page icon to find your course, and work on the nuggets on dialogue and adverbs.